We're live.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a great show coming up with some great special guests. I am Georgia Davenport. I'm the fundraising director for Jill Stein. And I just want to thank everyone who was in the Green Party convention recently voting. Great news. Jill Stein is the nominee for the Green Party. So that's awesome. And welcome delegates. If you were a delegate actually in the convention, please speak up in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. And I just want to say thank you very much to our special headliner guest and comedian today, Ron Placone. Ron is a registered Green in California and an awesome comedian, as I already mentioned. He has been on Discovery Channel, Sirius XM, and has a movie coming out soon. He has very generously agreed to be part of this after party. So be sure to subscribe to his Patreon and to say thank you for his support. And I'm going to go ahead and put his Patreon link in the chat now for you all to subscribe. I'm going to turn it over to Ron because he's way better at this than I am.
Thank you, Georgia. That was so nice. Thank you, everybody. Good to see everyone. I know that they told you to mute, and if you have to be muted, that's totally cool. But if you're in a cool, quiet place and you would like to unmute yourself, that'd be really cool because some of the things I'm gonna say, I would like you to laugh at. So it's nice if I can hear a little bit of laughter. So if you would like to unmute yourself, please do. If you can't, totally get it. But if you'd like to unmute yourself and laugh loudly, that's fantastic. Hearts and laugh emojis are awesome too. So whatever your situation is, that's totally cool. And it's good to be here. It's good to see everyone. I'm happy to be here. I do live in Los Angeles. Being a comedian in Los Angeles, it keeps you humble. I'll tell you this. This happened to me the other week. I was doing a show at a bar, just a free bar show. And I was standing outside beforehand. And somebody walked by and they go, "Hey, are you Ron Placone?" And I say, "Yeah." And he goes, "Dude, I love your podcast." I was like, "Oh, wow, that's so flattering. Thank you so much. I'm doing a free show in the bar inside. You want to come check it out?" And he goes, "No, I got laundry." Keeps you humble. Just keeps you humble. Gives and takes away. You're like, all right, fair enough. He had some clean clothes, that guy. He really did. He had some clean clothes. It's an election season, which, election seasons they're just doozies, aren't they? It's just a doozy. You gotta love it. Oh boy, I love election seasons. Everyone always tries to get you to vote Republican or Democrat, vote Republican or Democrat, vote Republican or Democrat. That's really hard for me to do. You know why? I have a cat. I already spend enough time checking a box for a turd. All right? I already do it enough. You want me to do it again every 4 years? It's just not fair, And then, by the way, I've been doing this a while. This is the first election season in my lifetime that I've actually had to cut material before the election is over. This is a first. All that Biden stuff. I'm like, oh, I guess that's not relevant anymore. Biden, or as I like to call him, Rip Van Reagan, got tired, dropped out. He's done so. It's just things are 10 miles a second in our country. Remember the stuff we used to get outraged about? Like, remember a couple months back when they found cocaine at the White House and everybody freaked out? Everyone was freaking out. They found cocaine at the White House. Can you believe it? That is probably the least offensive thing that's ever been found at the White House. By far. And there's always been cocaine at the White House. You know what it's like being a White House staffer? You work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have no soul. Cocaine is a food group. And if they were giving the cocaine to Joe Biden, that's fine. That's called problem solving. You want to fall asleep at a climate summit? Here, have some of Grandpa's Little Helper. All right?
Little Helper.
I used to put it in soda pop when he was a kid. He'll be fine. Sometimes when you're hard on the Democrats, people say you like Trump. They're like, you like Trump. I bet you want Trump. I do not like Trump. Trump's a fascist. I don't like Trump. All right. Sometimes people say, well, I bet Trump is good for comedy. Not really. Trump is low-hanging fruit, which is ironic because that's something he'll never eat. Biden is almost a vegetable, also something Donald Trump will never eat.
Oh, that's good.
JD Vance is a dick. All right, we're done with this analogy. It's over now. It's over. That's enough.
Oh, that's good.
Election seasons are just so goofy. I like all the emails that you get from all the major candidates. You get all those emails. Do you ever notice all the subject lines are something creepy and spammy? It's always, I'm thinking about you. Really, Nancy Pelosi? You're thinking about me? Why? What are you thinking about, perchance? And honestly, they are the same as spam emails because you're going to give money to something and not get what you were promised. It's just like, might as well send that money to the Nigerian prince. Really, you might as well. That would make the world a better place. If every time somebody runs for office and gets in, if they don't do at least 75% of what they promised, they should face a class action lawsuit and everyone gets their money back. That's what should happen. That would change everything really quick. Well, you promised us health care. We just got more war. So now you're bankrupt, and not just morally. Sorry.
100%.
The planet I would love to see. I really would. Here's another idea I have. If we're not going to have an actual democracy, here's another idea that I have. I think that to determine president, every 4 years, we should just pick a name out of a hat. Just a random name. We just pull it out of a hat. That person has to be president. It will not be a glamorous job. It will be like jury duty on steroids for 4 years. It will be miserable. And if your name gets picked, that sucks. Like, I just want to be an art teacher in Richmond. Sorry, Bob. You have to be president now. Sucks to be you. That's what I think. We'd be better off that way. Although not everyone's going to be in the hat. All right. Not everybody's going to be in the hat. Here's a way you can get out of the hat. If you are over the age of 25 and say the following sentence seriously, I think I would like to be president one day. You're out of the hat. You're out of the freaking hat. You don't get to, now you're done. That's a psychotic thing to say. You want to be president, you're gone. You're disqualified. By the way, you know something I like about Jill Stein? She doesn't want to be running for president. That's one of the things I like about her. She doesn't actually want to be here. Well, she wants to be here. You know what I mean? She doesn't want to be running for president. That's something I like about her. Something I like about her. Oh, there's a couple other rules with my president out of a hat thing. First of all, you only get one executive order. So make it good. You get one executive order. And it has to benefit everybody. It can't be everyone has to blow me. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. It has to benefit everyone. You could say, hey, Taco Tuesday indefinitely on the government's dime. All right, you can do that. You can do that. Some people are going to like you. Here's another rule. Here's the other rule. And this is my favorite one. If you declare any war or drop any bombs or do anything war-related, you're president. That's something presidents do. Here's the stipulation, though. You do that, you got to go fighting it yourself. You got to go fighting it. That's how. I don't want to go fight in Iran. Well, then you better veto this, Bob. Sorry. Because if you don't veto it, you're going to Iran. But why are we hurting Iran? They didn't do anything to us. Exactly, Bob. Are you catching on? Are you learning how things have been for nearly 100 years in this country? Are you catching on, Bob? We're the bad guy here. Exactly, Bob. You better veto it. You better frickin' veto it. That would be just one person who got very unlucky. Feel bad for them, but it's just going to be one person trying to argue with defense contractors for 4 years. That would be our entire system. And it'd be pretty messed up, but it'd be better than what we have now. It would be much better than what we have now. Because you know what? Only in the United States could a guy who was born a millionaire, declared bankruptcy 4 times anyway, be declared the great business option. Only in the United States could something like that happen. And only in the United States could an authoritarian cop who's never seen a war she didn't like be the progressive option? You know, I live in California, all right? I can tell you a thing or two about Kamala Harris. She loves throwing people in jail. She loves authoritarianism. Kamala Harris, when she watches a sporting event, she's the only person who roots for the referees. And only in this one, this one makes my blood boil a good bit. Only in the United States could a guy who is a member of one of the largest political dynasties in the history of the country, been a right-wing Democrat his entire frickin' life, is against climate action, is against universal health care, loves genocide, be considered a frickin' outsider. Oh, by what standards is that guy a frickin' outsider? Are you nuts? And only in the United States could that same person who has literal brain worms and gave himself mercury poisoning be considered a health guru. That is absolutely amazing. What a system. What a frickin' system. That's incredible. So I want to spend. Well, I'll do a couple more things. I'll switch gears a little bit here. I am still COVID cautious because I like being popular, but I am still COVID cautious. People will say weird things to you when you are wearing a mask indoors these days. They will say really weird things to you. Someone said this to me. They just said, "Look, Ron, if you're wearing a mask indoors, you're just not going to be the life of the party." I've never been the life of the party. This is nothing new for me. It's not like in 2019 and before, I'd be at a party, there'd be people lining up, hey, that guy who looked like Ed Sheeran if he was obsessed with a bug collection. Let's go talk to him. I bet he has a lot of opinions on how vinyl sounds better. And I do. I have a lot of opinions on how vinyl sounds better. So that is me. But I want to talk about a few things about how some of the things that we're all going to get this election season, and my thoughts on all of that. Because, this is the Green Party, and we all know all the cliches that you get every election season. So I'm going to go through some of them and my personal thoughts on all of them. The Green Party has no power. Okay, well, the United States, there are hundreds of political parties in the United States. Hundreds of political parties. Only four of them have any electoral power whatsoever. Out of those four, only one is a non-corporate party. That's the Green Party. Yep. The Green Party is the only non-corporate party in the United States that has any electoral power whatsoever. And what electoral power is that? Over 100 Greens hold office throughout the country. Over 100 Greens hold office in the United States. Only non-corporate party in the country where that is the case. That's just the reality. Also, it's really interesting. The same people who talk about the Greens having no power are also the first people to blame the Greens when their candidate of choice doesn't win. So how do the Greens simultaneously have no power whatsoever, yet also determine every election? How does that add up? We have no power at all, except we get to decide who gets to be the most powerful person in the world. No power at all, except for that one thing that we apparently decide, which, by the way, all of that is nonsense. It has never actually been applied. In 2000, the Green Party did not cost Al Gore the election. The Supreme Court did. And Jeb Bush helping his brother out. That's what cost Al Gore the election. In fact, if Ralph Nader wouldn't have been in that election, Al Gore would have actually literally lost Florida. So that's nonsense. 2004, John Kerry beat himself. All right? And in 2016, despite popular belief, it was not Jill Stein, armed with nothing but Russian memes and a bottle of dreams, that stopped Hillary Clinton from going to Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Hate to break it to you. So here's another one. Here's another one. I'm just more strategic. I'm just more strategic in my voting. So that's why I don't support third parties, or I don't support the Green Party. All right. Well, I hate to break it to you, but I think your strategy might need a little bit of work. We've been doing the lesser of two evils thing my entire lifetime. And we currently have two candidates to the right of Ronald Reagan. And it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. So dare I say, your strategy might not be so great. It might be time to do something different. And you know what? Greens understand. We understand that the system is set up so that third parties don't have a chance. We know that. We know that's how the game is set up. So instead of playing a rigged game, we're trying to change the frickin' rules to the game. And how do you do that? You do that by getting money out of politics. You do that via ranked choice voting. Those are all things that the Greens are working on. Those are all things, which, by the way, getting back to the whole Greens have never done. Oh, there's another one. Greens have never done anything. It's been about 40 years and the Greens have never done anything. Oh, really? Well, let's give an equal comparison here. The Greens are a left-wing party, and they are a non-corporate left-wing party, as we discussed. Being a leftist in the United States is like being a surfer in Nebraska, and the only way you can get to the ocean is by walking. It's pretty freaking bleak, all right? It's pretty bleak. So that's what we're up against. That is what we're up against. By the way, just for the record, there have been other political parties that have come and gone, even as of recent. The Green Party decided to be an official party in about 1987. They won their first election by, I think it was either 91 or 92. So in about 5 years, not only did they run an election, they frickin' won. And that was before we had the internet to make things faster. So keep that in mind. The whole Greens have never done anything. Also, again, we're talking left-wing projects here. The Green Party's been around since the 80s. You know how long they've been trying to make the Democrats a progressive party? They've been trying to do that since the 1960s.
Mhm.
They've been trying to do that longer.
Mhm.
And what do they have to show for it? Strategically, as a whole, societally, as a whole, the party has gone right.
Yep.
So they've been trying to do something for 60 years, and it's had the opposite effect. It's had the opposite of effect.
Mhm.
Someone said this, they said, you know, it's selfish to be in a third party. It's selfish if you're in a third party. You think Greens are the only people who need a livable planet? You think that's not a universal need? You really think that's some interesting logic? If I ever, oh, look at you Greens just wanting clean water for the entire country. Look at you. Get over yourself. Just drink some high fructose shit and get over it. Haven't you ever seen Idiocracy? We don't need water. It's overrated. You guys are just, I guess we have to tolerate the Green Party existing because you guys just can't cook with fracking fluid. Get over yourself. It's high in protein. Have you ever tried it? It's great. Now, here's another one. Oh, by the way, for the rest of the whole, Greens have not accomplished much. The Green Party is one of the main reasons that the Green New Deal is now in our vernacular. The Green Party, they were the first. That started with the frickin' Green Party. All right. Why? Because that's an international idea, and the Green Party is an international frickin' party. Did you ever notice this? Did you ever notice that in other countries where they have more parliamentary systems, and I'm not saying those systems are perfect, but I am saying they're better than what we got here. But in those countries, there's nothing like the Republicans and Democrats there. Did you ever notice that? Did you ever notice there's nothing quite as repulsive as the GOP in other parts of the world? In other parts of the world, the Democrats would be considered a right-wing party. By every standard measurable, the Democrats are a right-wing party literally anywhere else in the frickin' world. So, and there's nothing as rudderless and directionless as the Democratic Party anywhere else. It just doesn't exist. And there's nothing quite as gruesome as the GOP anywhere else in the freaking world. It just does. There's right-wing parties, and they're repulsive as hell, of course, but nothing quite like the American GOP, and nothing quite as useless and rudderless as the Democratic Party. Meanwhile, all the left-wing parties in the United States, they actually have an international frickin' presence. That's why they bring about ideas like, the Green New Deal. Ranked choice voting, that is in the vernacular, largely because of the Green Party. Ending the wars, largely in the vernacular because of the Green Party. They've been a peace party since the very beginning. Another really special issue to me, we talked about climate, we talked about ending the wars. I'm really into healthcare. I really support universal healthcare. Who was the first party to put that on their platform? Oh, wait, once again, the Green Party, the freaking Green Party. Here we go. Here we go. So just saying. Now here's another one. And I know that this one touches for some people, because I get that our system is totally corrupt. I get that corporations have bought off our politics. I totally get all of that. And sometimes you kind of hear this when you encourage people to get out, when you encourage people to vote, when you encourage people to support third parties, to support movements, to support policy initiatives. Sometimes you get, well, guess what? If voting made a difference, they'd make it illegal. Mark Twain. All right. There's a lot of things about that quote I like, first of all. I'm not going to say, there's some things about that quote that I do appreciate. But first of all, Smarty Magoo, Mark Twain never said that. Mark Twain did not say that quote. It's falsely attributed to him. He never actually said it. Who may have said that quote, we don't even know if anyone did, but someone who may have said that quote is Emma Goldman. Allegedly, Emma Goldman said that. We don't even know for sure. So if you're going to repeat that and use that as a reason not to vote, I hope you are as active as Emma Goldman was. Mm-hmm. I really hope so. And you're probably not, because guess what? Most of us aren't. I include myself in that. I'm not perfect, y'all. I'm not perfect. A friend of mine, a colleague of mine named Evan Greer, she's an amazing musician. She has a song called Emma Goldman Would Have Beat Your Ass. And one time I asked her, I was like, well, would Emma Goldman have beat your ass? And she just looked at me and she said, you know what, Ron? Emma Goldman would have beat both our asses at various times if you're not revolutioning enough. And she's freaking right. She'd be freaking right. So I'm just saying. And by the way, if you read into Emma Goldman, she actually had a strategic view of voting, which means she saw it as part of one tool in the larger toolkit for change. So even if she did utter that statement, she still employed voting as a necessary tool when it was appropriate. And again, I think that electoralism in general is the smallest tool in the toolkit of change. What do I think are way bigger tools? Movements, strikes, protests, shutting it down. If we could organize a general strike in this country, we would see change almost immediately. In a couple days, they wouldn't know what to do because the people who really run this place would see their bottom line be hurt and they would freak out. So I believe that all of those things are way more important than electoral politics. But if I'm going to engage with electoral politics, which again, I am for some of the reasons I just mentioned, I want to be part of the best vehicle possible. And you know what? And as long as I've been paying attention, that best vehicle is right here in the Green Party. The Green Party, again, over 100 Greens hold office. The Green Party is going after the issues that will change the game, that will give us a better electoral system. And by the way, we need to take a step back and realize, why are we one of the only third parties doing that? Do you ever hear the libertarians talk about ranked choice voting? Do you ever hear them talk about getting money out of politics? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I sure as hell haven't. They always talk about trying to unite on certain issues. They always talk about trying to find common ground. Well, gee, why is the Green Party the only party going after the things electorally that will actually change the game so that we can have a more parliamentary style system? And here's another thing. Here's a frickin' another thing. If the reason the squad failed is because they refused to vote as a block. There were only a handful of them. If they voted as a block, they could be a force to be reckoned with. But they didn't. Why didn't they do that? Because they're in the Democratic Party, so they have to play it the company way or they lose their jobs. So they either decided play it the company way or get voted out. If they were Greens, if all the squad were Greens, they wouldn't have to play it the company way because they would be reporting to the party that got them elected. They'd be reporting to and you know what? Big money might come in and beat them anyway. It's possible. It's possible that later big money would come in and beat them. But you know what? There'd be at least a period of time where we would have at least 6 people voting as a frickin' block for progressive values. And that's why in other countries, they don't have the same nonsense at the level we do. Because you know what? They usually have 2 parties, 2 or 3 parties that are the most powerful parties. But guess what? Those parties need to go to the socialists. They need to go to the Greens. They need to go to the communists. They need to go to the left flank to get anything done because those left-wing projects have a couple of seats. And it makes a big freaking difference. It makes a big freaking difference. And we can have that reality here in the United States. It's not impossible. We can build it. Which brings me to the other point I wanted to bring up. Another cliche you will get a lot of this electoral season, my friends. Now is not the time. Guy, I know, I get it. It's just now is not the time. Now's not the time. Okay, here's my question. I want to meet you where you're at. When is the frickin' time? When is the frickin' time? When is it going to be time? When do you think the duopoly is going to say, I bless you, Green Party, to have a democracy? You can have candidates now. People can vote for them. We've decided. It's time. When do you think? There are literal neo-Nazis who hold office in this country. Not an embellishment. Look it up. There are GOP members. They are Nazis. They hold frickin' office. And by the way, Ron DeSantis down in Florida, he's a frickin' Nazi, all right? I know he doesn't identify as one, but he's a frickin' Nazi. Read into what that guy's doing. He's a Nazi, all right? So when is it going to be time? Do you think that one day the Republicans are just going to run somebody reasonable and the Democrats aren't going to run someone completely controlled by corporate interests? When is it going to be the time? We saw what they did to Bernie twice. When is it going to be the frickin' time? All right? You know what? The time is now because we're running out of time. Mm-hmm. We're running out of time. So the time is now. What's it going to take? What's it going to take? So when I'll make a couple quick announcements here. I do have a movie coming out. It's going to be released officially. I don't have an official date yet, but it's coming up soon. And I'm also working on a documentary that kind of fell in my lap suddenly. It's about we're trying to stop some cat killings that are happening in my community. More on that later, but yeah, I'm working on a documentary as well. So please do follow me on social media, and I do have a Patreon. You can follow it for free if you want, or if you want to give an amount each month, that's very much appreciated. And of course, my website ronplacone.com lists all my tour dates. I don't know if anyone here is in London. I'm going to be in London in September, but I think this is probably more domestic here. But my website, of course, has all my tour dates whenever I'm traveling. And so to wrap things up here, you know, I talked about just the ridiculous, like how ridiculous our politics are and how ridiculous it is, the candidates that we have and the Overton window that we have, which is the appropriate point of conversation. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's so far to the right. They had to buy a new camera to be able to veer far enough to the right just to take a snapshot of it. And I talked about those other candidates. And, you know, another thing is only in the United States could a Harvard-educated doctor who's been an environmental activist her entire freaking life and has been on the front line her entire freaking life be declared, quote unquote, unserious by the corporate media. That's absolutely remarkable to me. And when I look at what we're facing as a society, the dire situation we are facing that I'm not sugarcoating, clearly, as you just saw by the set I gave you, I can think of nobody more qualified, no entity more qualified than a historian, because they have a historical perspective on where we're at exactly, and they're not going to BS about it, and a medical doctor who has been fighting the activist fight her entire freaking life. And one thing I know about Jill Stein, she came into the office very reluctantly. She's never wanted to run for office. She's always been in situations where she basically got recruited, where someone had to step up to the plate and it had to be her. And that's especially true this time around. She did not want to be here. She did not want to be running for president, but she had to, because if she didn't, the Greens were going to lose millions of dollars of work and countless hours of labor with ballot access. So she had to step up. And that's what I like in leadership. I like to see people who have been recruited, who stepped up to the plate because they knew they had to. That's the type of system that I support, as long as no one ever tries to make me do that. It's a bad idea. You don't want me to run for office. Trust me. Don't ever have me. But other people, glad they're for it. So I am very proud to. Is she, Georgia, is she here?
No. Kelly,
Oh, she's still not here?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Wait.
I thought she was probably here by now. People were waiting for her.
I'm here.
She's here.
I'm ready to break the duopoly.
No. I just figured she'd be here by now. People are probably waiting. So I wanted to... All right. Well, guys, I didn't time that great. You know, I mean...
God. Oh my God.
I mean, I'll keep talking. Is she on her way? I mean, I don't mind.
I don't know. Kelly, as my deputy campaign director, can you tell me where I'm at?
You are upstairs at a press conference right now.
You know, that wasn't my actual introduction, so there's still time.
Okay.
I can still land this plane, is what I'm saying. That wasn't my actual. It was just sort of the aside, like, Georgia, is she here? No, okay, all right. Who's the press
I even
conference
put
with?
on a jacket for the part.
I hope we got a screenshot.
That is
of
a signature. I do like it. I do like it.
I'm never on camera, like hardly ever. So this is very unusual. So I had to, like, you know, get camera ready, as Jill says.
Well, this is actually, I mean, my background is from a photo I took in Tokyo. I don't know if y'all like it, but yeah, this is from. Oh, I don't know if anyone here has ever been to Japan. It is lovely. It is a lovely place. I'll tell you, the thing I miss about, this might be kind of weird. I really miss the toilets. If you've ever used a oh my God, it's amazing. There are so many buttons. It's incredible. I don't even know what all the buttons do. I mean, there's a button, there's a bidet button and a spritz button, different things. It's amazing. There's a button, you push it, you get a cheering section. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. You can push a button. They have a hologram of your father show up, and he tells you he's proud of you. Isn't that the best? Isn't that best? They know the AI. They know it's amazing. It's amazing. I love it.
A little weird there.
No, it wasn't for me. It was the best. It was the best. I miss it. I'll tell you guys a story about. I'll tell you guys this. What?
That's not how the Thailand bathrooms were. So that's.
How many buttons did you have?
A different experience in Asia.
Yeah. Well, give us a rundown of the buttons.
Oh, there's no buttons. It's just like
no buttons.
No, in Thailand. Have you been to Thailand?
No, I've not been to Thailand.
So next
I want
on
to
my
go
list for the toilet.
I would love to go, but no, I've not been to Thailand. That's sad. It's no button. I mean, we have no buttons here in the United States either. We have no buttons. They're just like no buttons at all. Just go wipe yourself with some sandpaper and enjoy your not democracy. That's all we have. That's all we have here. It's just, you know, I miss it. I really do. I miss here's what so this is something I found out years ago. I was in Hawaii and I had have you guys ever had, just show me via emojis, have any of y'all ever had dry ramen? It's basically just ramen, but it's soupless. Like it's like soupless ramen. Some people have had it. All right, so it's like soupless ramen. It's so good. It's one of my favorite things. And I was in Hawaii a while ago, and I had this style of soupless ramen, and I didn't know what it was, but I loved it. It was one of the most delicious meals I've ever eaten in my life. But I didn't know what I just knew it was soupless ramen. It's not uncooked ramen. It's not the instant stuff. It's real ramen. It's just, instead of soup, it's just like spices and stuff like that, like oils and whatnot. So I had the most amazing dry ramen, right? That's what they call it. But I didn't know there were different types of dry ramen. I just knew it was dry ramen, and I freaking loved it. So I was in Tokyo, and I made it part of my mission. I said, I'm going to track down that dry ramen. Whatever that dry ramen was I had, I'm going to track it down in Tokyo, and I'm going to find it, and I'm going to eat it. On my last day, I did a lot of Google Maps sleuthing, and I finally found a picture that looked like the dry ramen I had. in Hawaii, and I was so excited. I was like, I finally found the dry ramen, right? So I go to this shop, I get a bowl, I taste it. It was the same dry ramen. Turns out it's a dish called maze soba, and it's a Taiwanese dish. So for anyone, yeah, check it out. Like, go find out if they have maze soba in your town. If they do, go eat it and tweet me and let me know your experience. It's amazing. It was one of the best meals I ever had in my life. So I found it again in Tokyo. I ate it. I was so happy. So I wanted to tell the people at the shop how appreciative I was of the whole thing and how much it meant to me after all these years to find maze soba again. But I don't speak any Japanese. No one in that shop spoke English. So I did a Google Translate. And here's what I wrote to them on Google Translate. Thank you. This is my favorite noodle dish. I've been looking for it since Hawaii. And I showed it to the guy, and he read it, and he kind of smiled, and they did a little bow. I did a bow back. It was a nice moment. Later that night, I was hanging out with some friends of mine. One of them spoke fluent Japanese. I told them the story. I was like, yeah, I finally found this ramen. It was my favorite. It's my last night in Tokyo. I'm so glad I found it. It was the best meal. And they said, oh, what'd you say to the guy? And I still had the Google Translate thing on my phone. So I showed it to them. They read it. Here's what Google Translate actually said to the guy. Thank you. I'm a famous nudist. I've been looking for it since Hawaii. So it kind of failed a little bit there. Still great. Maze soba though. Have it. Eat it up. It's great. I don't speak Japanese. I do speak Italian. I speak a little bit of Italian. I use Duolingo to get better at Italian. Anyone else here? Show me by way of emojis.
Anch'io, Ran, parliamo qual tempo possiamo parlare
è vero,
insieme.
Ti parli italiano, Justin. Ricordo.
Sì, sì.
Parlo spesso?
Abbastanza spesso. Sono andato...
You left me hanging, dude. I started speaking Italian. I spoke it back. You just went silent.
Oh no, ogni sabato...
I'm going to make them think he can't really speak it. Come stai oggi?
You got to do this, right?
No, I use Duolingo. Justin, do you use Duolingo?
Sì, I use it sometimes. E anche parliamo ogni sabato quando non sono troppo occupato con gli altri alla Dunkin' Donuts in town.
Un appuntamento di Dunkin' Donuts con altre persone, parlate italiano nel gruppo, molto buono.
Esatto.
Però che volevo di avere questa nel mio vicino San Pedro, ma non lo so. E l'Italia è piccolo a Los Angeles, ma non possono di parlare italiano con me. Solo io e mia moglie. Io e mia madre, e anche mia famiglia in Italia. So I try to practice Italian. I use the Duolingo app. Now that is a very intense app. Anyone using it, you guys know that it's very, very intense. They will, what happens is you download it and they make you feel like $1 million. You do your first lesson, they email you. And they go, oh, you learned 5 words in Italian. Way to go. You're brilliant. And you feel great about it. You're like, yeah. I'm really good at this. I'm great at Italian. You feel like $1 million. Then the next day, you do another lesson. They email you again. They're like, whoa, ciao Bella, move over Fellini. You know 10 words in Italian. You're going to be fluent in like a week. Feel like $1 million. You're like, yeah, I'm awesome. Then you know what happens? You miss a day. Yeah. And when you miss a day, they email you again and they go, ooh, you missed a day. And you're a shitty husband.
Jesus.
Say that in Italian. Oh, wait, you can't. Actually, I can. Sono morito male, mi dispiace. Cerco di biore, ma no, non è possibile. Mi dispiace. I can't
John,
say.
I know you can't see the chat, but the bidet conversation really hasn't stopped. Like,
You know, I do what I can. I do what I can. You know, I've been in the game a little while now, and if I can just go down as the toilet comedian, my career will be made. I mean, really. I mean, sure, guys, you know, we talked about climate collapse. We talked about the economy of war. We've talked about corporate capture of our government. But really, you guys were just waiting for the toilet stuff. And I was waiting to get there, really. I mean, the rest of that's just filler. You know, I mean, something that there's like, it's like, you know, I got into this to really just try to tell the truth about something and to make a societal statement. I'm just like, yeah, you know, I mean, that's all well and good. I guess I'll go there if I have to, but really for me, it's all about spreading the good news about the Japanese toilets. You know, they need my promotional efforts. Really. I mean, they need me to vouch for them. Maybe I could get a sponsorship. Maybe that's what will lead. They will send me one to the United States. They'll be like, you know what? We were really, I mean, some people might think Tokyo is one of the most popular cities in the world and everyone comes here, but no, we know better. That's not the case. We need American comedians to vouch for our toilets on Zoom conventions for small third parties. That's what we need. That is what we need. So now that you're doing that, we're going to send you a complimentary toilet with all the fixings. We are going to spare nothing for you. And guys, I'll share it. You know, you can all come over and check out my new Japanese toilet when I get it. So I'm glad the conversation. Now I am gonna splurge on a bidet. You can get bidets. You can get them very affordably. I am going to do that. I'm scared to put it in. That's what's going on. I'm scared to put it in because I'm scared I will mess something up. I'm scared like I'm scared I'll install it and I'll mess something up big time and it'll be like instead of water coming out, one of those like fists from the Acne cartoons will punch me off the toilet. You know what I mean? Like I'll mess it up that bad.
I'm scared of.
I don't even know how I can
cold
mess
water.
it up that bad, but I will. What?
I'm scared of high-powered cold water. What if the things turned up
Can you
too
get
high?
warm water ones?
You can get warm water ones. And Kelly, look, since you opened this can of worms, and not the brainworm kind, just the regular kind. But have you ever tried a Japanese toilet? That's why you're afraid. That's why you're afraid. For anyone who didn't know it, Kelly said no, she has not tried. Now, Kelly, when you try that Japanese toilet, your life's going to change. Your life's going to change, and you're going to be like, oh, I fear nothing now. Not just when it comes to streams of water, just in general. You will fear nothing. You will feel everything. You will fear nothing because it will change your life. Then you'll get a bowl of maze soba, and you'll be like, man, I'm glad that Jill Stein was late, so Ron had to do the Japanese toilet jokes. I am so glad that happened because I learned about maze soba and the joy of these high-pressure jets just cleaning me. For years, I thought, no, this like borderline sandpaper just rubbing the poop around me. It works great. It works great. Little did I realize. Telling you, you won't fear it anymore.
Oh my gosh. No,
Someone said they learned about noodle. I like that. Noodle nudist. I like that. I like that a lot. I really do.
Man.
I do. I try to. I wasn't, you know, here's something else. I'll tell you guys this. I was in Italy when Giorgia Meloni, the fascist, got elected. And it was not a happy day in Italy that day, by the way. They were not happy there. And I was just like, well, the last time you guys had a voter turnout this low, Mussolini got elected. So I don't know. I mean, maybe, but it really did put things into perspective for me as an American because Giorgia Meloni got elected, which is terrible. But because they do have a more parliamentary style system, there was a coalition of 3 opposition parties to her that all got the next seats in line. So she has to go down like 3 to 4 political parties before she has any allies whatsoever. Also, the left flank in Italy is a party called Verdi Sinistra. And it's a combination of the Italian Greens. It's a combination of the Socialist Party. And I think the Italian Communist Party is still good, but the Italian Communist Party might have went in with them as well. It translates into Green Left, as Justin pointed out. It's Verdi Sinistra. And they won like 4 or 5 seats in the election as well. And man, as an American, boy, did it put a perspective on it for me. Because imagine if there was a midterm election and the Greens won 5 congressional seats. Like, imagine if that, I'd be dancing in the streets. Like, I'd be going nuts. And over there, that was a bad turnout for them. That was like a terrible turnout for them. For me, I would have been going like ape. I have an Italian attorney, and I was talking because he's a member of Verdi Sinistra, and I was talking to him about this. I'm like, dude, that would never happen here. Like I'd be going nuts. And so yeah, it really just puts it in a perspective to you. And I'll tell you this, sometimes I think I want to go right over there in Italy. And something happened to me recently that made me really feel like I need to go over there. I was watching a TV show called Il Mare Fiore. It's a really brilliant TV show. And there was a line in there, and this was translated. And the line was, love is like a fart. If you force it, you'll get crap. And I was like, that's genius. That is the best simile that has ever or will ever occur. And love is like a fart. Love is exactly like a fart. It's never convenient on a plane. Love is like a fart. It shows up when you least expect it. Everybody fart right now. Love is like a fart. People are nervous to do it in groups. But some people like that, and I'm not here to judge.
Break out that picture of Jill again.
My God.
Actually, I feel like
Jill
this
Stein
is a
just show
terrible
up?
segue, but I want to talk about Our Lady of Perpetual Duopoly Smashing Prayer Candle. Well, before Jill gets in, I think it would be a good time to talk about.
Yeah, someone just said what I was thinking. They were like, man, what if Jill just showed up during the fart conversation? Not like, I'm sorry, Dr. Stein. I had to try to top the Japanese toilets, all right? Somebody will catch you up. Go ahead, Georgia. Please tell us about the candles.
Yeah, so Jill is not, should I put my Jill
Yeah,
mask
I
on?
didn't think it's there we
Okay,
go.
so-
Jill!
Yes, I'm not the biggest fan of this candle, but my team loves it. So I want to talk to you a little bit about this candle that we have that's a special promotional item just for this event. It's Our Lady of Perpetual Duopoly Smashing Prayer Candle. So Russ has kindly put the link to that in the chat. And this candle, if you buy it, will help us maintain and continue the campaign through the end of the election and send me to the White House. And you can light it and put it on your mantelpiece. It'll look great.
Do you have a picture
Sorry,
of it?
I don't have a good Jill impression.
No. I just wasn't sure if they were going to come up on the screen. Where can people see the
I can
candle?
share it, or maybe
Oh, please.
yeah.
Yo,
Yeah, show it to everyone.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hero. Isn't it beautiful? Elena, our graphic designer, made it. It's gorgeous. I can't wait for mine.
Good job,
Oh,
Elena.
gosh,
Mhm.
That is cool.
For sure.
One of the lesser known Jewish saints.
Exactly. You didn't have the pleasure of seeing the look on Jill's face when she did see it.
Mhm.
It was a sight.
Yeah. But it is a cool item, and I'm glad that people in our little committee who are organizing this event suggested it, because
Where can people get those again? Remind everyone where they can get one.
the link's in the chat. Russ has been sharing it. It's on our website. And we'll send it out again to anybody who RSVP'd for this event so that you have that link handy. So.
Georgia, would you like me to squeeze in a little bit of the field pitch that's in the?
Oh, yes. Thank you. I got distracted by all of Ron's amazing information about toilets in other countries. So yes, please talk about Field.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron. And I don't know, the last couple days have been amazing. It's just kind of feels like there's momentum building, there's coalition growing. It's just all these voices speaking together and agreeing and coming together and pushing forward. It's been really inspirational. I want everyone to feel like they can be a part of what's going on, and everyone can. We have 80 days between now and the election. I would like everyone to think of trying to do at least one thing every day for the next 80 days in support of Jill, to help spread the word, whatever you can do, even if it's a little thing, or you can do more. Hi, guys. I was just doing a little pitch. Should I stop? I was just going to invite people to go to jillstein2024.com/events and see what's going on, how you can get involved with the campaign. We have events going on every day. Patrick Dillon is our deputy field director. He and I will be happy to meet you and talk to you, or meet one of our team. We have some low-hanging fruit. You can become a block captain, get a 10% discount on a yard sign. Just try to help motivate the people in your immediate area. There's things above that you can do. You can, become a state leader. And I encourage everyone to join their state Green Party and get connected with the Green Party people in your area and work together with them. So just every day for the next 80 days, I would like everyone to try and do something, whatever they can find to do, to help grow this momentum, grow this movement that has been so inspirational. Thanks for everything you do.
Well, Jill, you missed the candle auction. Oh.
And you missed the other Jill Stein.
But can you do a voice with the?
It wasn't good. I did
Okay.
my best. It wasn't the greatest.
Gave it her best try.
So, yeah. I mean, I look forward to hearing about the candle auction and the voice and everything else. And maybe we'll just give you a quick, a quick input and do our piece here. And I want to give everybody a big thank you for coming out. Thank you for your support. Thank you so much for making this historic moment possible. It feels like this is an incredible moment right now, where history is kind of turning. This is like the arc of the universe bends towards justice, but it needs us to do the bending. And it feels like we're here to make that happen. It feels like hooking up with Butch not so long ago to fill this slot was just incredible, and puts this all in a very big historic perspective, and lets us kind of use this teachable moment to seize this perfect storm for political transformation. People are in crisis. They are really hurting. We were just talking with some of the people here who have voted before, but they weren't going to vote in this election. And when we're out on the campaign trail, we're talking to lots of people who've never voted, who've never seen fit to vote, and who will vote now. They were going to vote before just for our agenda. And now that Butch is part of this, they're really voting. And they're not only voting, they're going to work. They're going to work to make this campaign a reality, to transform their reality, transform their communities, ensure that there is housing, that there is a reparations plan, that there are jobs, a jobs guarantee at a good wage, a $25 an hour minimum wage, which is barely a living wage actually across the country, to ensure that we have healthcare as a human right, which we should have. It saves us money. It's outrageous. It's a real condemnation of our current politics that it hasn't already been passed, to cut the military. So instead of this bloated, dangerous weapon on hair trigger alert that's getting us into deep trouble all across the world, we got to cut that at least by half and put those resources here back home. So, and we can end the genocide right now, the genocide that is keeping so many of us up at night and just on task here constantly for the blood that is on our hands, this endless gush of blood with the horrific crisis rolling out every day on our computer screens. It's absolutely untenable. And it's only possible to live with that by fighting it constantly. So, you know, we can stand up to this disaster, these converging existential crises, with a vision of a secure, green, just, prosperous future, an America and a world that works for all of us. We have the policies, we have the numbers. 1 out of every 3 voters did not vote. 1 out of every 3 eligible voters did not vote in 2020. That is huge. Add that to the number of people who will not vote for genocide, no matter what kind of a happy face Kamala Harris puts on this. So many Americans, this is the wake-up moment. They will not vote for genocide. So many in the Arab American community and the Muslim American community will not vote for genocide, no matter how much they are sheepdogged, no matter how much they are goaded by, by the nonprofit industrial complex, which is, all over our political world.
Yeah.
People are not going to be talked into voting for genocide. At least most aren't. Most that I know are not going to be talked into voting for genocide. And the people who will support us, these are not your usual voters. So I just want to point out that they are completely untapped by polling. So polling does not monitor and sample people who are not routine voters, but that is above all who we are speaking to right now and who can be reached and mobilized by the usual aspects of campaigning out there, flyering, door knocking, tabling, going to the churches, going to the mosques. We have not only an amazing VP candidate, we also have a cabinet that we will be rolling out maybe in the next, actually we have a date. It is January 31st at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Yes, did I say January? It feels like it's the beginning of a new era here. I mean, August 31st.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Right. On August 31st, we will be unveiling this cabinet. And if you saw the rally last night, it was pretty incredible. The powerhouses that are converging to make this happen. This is unbelievably exciting. There's nothing like necessity, to be the mother of invention here. We are reinventing ourselves. We are reinvigorating our democracy and our economy. This is the perfect storm for transformational change. So sign up, pitch in if you can, please. We need those dollars right now to get on the ballot across the country. Because once we're on the ballot, for most states, then mainstream media can no longer lock us out.
Right.
They are
That's right.
quaking in their
They
boots
are.
that
They're
we
terrified.
should be discovered. So let's make that happen. Please pitch in whatever you can right now.
And I mean,
you.
so what I would add is, about 70% of the 100,000 people that follow me on Instagram are 30 and under. And
Great.
most of those are people that have never voted. And the aim is really to galvanize this group. But I'm just going to be blunt about this. We need resources because we're up against people that cheat and steal and are for sale. So it means that we really need to do the work of developing as much as possible the resources that are needed for this. Now, this is something that Jill is now hearing for the first time, and hopefully this would be good news. When I was a first-year assistant professor at the Northwestern University, I wrote a grant that got $430,000, and then a renewal of it that got another $430,000, and then an addition to that grant from another institution that got $150,000. So we raised them $1.1 million as a first-year assistant professor. I've done fundraisers in the Muslim community where we raised $50,000 in a night and put down the cornerstones for mosques. So I'm going to come in guns blazing on the fundraising aspect. And I don't have experience in this domain, so I want you guys to teach me, but support and spread the word. And if you can create the arrangements in your communities where people can come with resources and we can line up people that are ready to max out those $3,300 dollars for the electoral cycle, I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna light up that crowd and have people ready to click that donate button. So start lining them up, and we gonna come in and knock them
Yeah.
out the park.
We're going to do that. We're absolutely going to do that. They're going to be on their feet. And a little did I know that we were recruiting not only a historian of empire, genocide, colonialism, and revolution. Little did I know we're also recruiting a fundraiser here. So that seed money right now will help us
Yes.
in the ballot fights that we have right now. And know that your dollars are being put to such great work. We're already on the ballot for something around 70 or 75% of voters. We want to get it up to 90, 95%, maybe up to 100. Or close to it, but we're also winning some of these legal battles that we've been dragged into. We've already won in Wisconsin, where the idiots in the DNC are trying to throw us off the ballot based on nonsense. And the case was actually thrown out by the Election Commission of Wisconsin. So there's one, and we also just won in Nevada. They may be taking us back to appeals, but we're going to fight them again. We are winning the day. Your dollars are unbelievably critical. We're also waiting for this money to come in from the Department of Treasury, which has hijacked our public funding. Today is actually the last day to contribute. We
Yes.
still expect, though, the public funding to come through. It just won't come through in time for our ballot drives. So we need you to tide us over and help us lay the groundwork, because we're going to hit them like they've never been hit before. They are not going to know what's coming out of left field here, especially the voters who've not voted before and people who are registering to vote now for the first time because they have been waiting for, they have been demanding what we are bringing to the table here, an America and a world that works for all of us. And we're the team to make it happen. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to Butch for joining us. So grateful to all of you.
Do you guys have any questions for me or for us, about any of this? Big 24 hours.
Oh, so the team is saying, get Our Lady of Perpetual Duopoly Smashing
prayer
prayer
candle. That's
candle,
epic.
limited edition. Do get that. Oh, what do I think about the candle? What do we think about the candle?
I mean, I'm all about smashing false idols. So and the perpetual duopoly is certainly one of them. So yeah, let's go. I'll send me my candle and I'll break it.
And here's a request for you, Butch, and please call us Butch and
Yeah.
Jill.
So retell my personal, I mean, I'll tell a little bit. It's hard to go into length at that. I mean, so my mother is, white woman, my father, African-American. The high school guidance counselor at my mom's school, when she got pregnant at age 15, told her that she should abort me, because if she had me, that within 2 years, she would be strung out on heroin and selling herself in Northeast DC, and that it was a bad life for her and a bad life for her child. And I fully support a woman's right to choose. Islam actually does not say that life begins at conception. Just to be clear, that is a Catholic issue that then became a Christian evangelical issue. But I am grateful every day about how my mom exercised her choice and how she didn't submit to racism and how she didn't submit to oppression. And she exercised that choice. And because of that, I got a chance to fight. and to fight for an America wherein people can exercise their choices freely, right? And now, you know, here we are. Like, she was holding, you know, this little baby in her arms, you know, November 4th, 1973. I just turned 50 this past year. And my mom told me a story. She said, and this is true, it sounds like it's made up for this moment, but this is true. She said, Butch, I held you in my arms that day. And she said, and I knew you would go on to do something important. And I knew that I had made the right choice for me.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Can't hear that enough. I'm going to just speak to some of the questions here real quick. Are loans to the campaign useful? I don't think we can do that. The FEC is very fussy, so donate what you can. You know, if you donate on a monthly basis, that is awesome. Andrea signed up as a block captain in Chicago. That is awesome. This is exactly what we need.
Captain.
We are in the process right now of cloning Kelly Merrill, who is our field director. Actually our assistant, she's a deputy campaign manager, but does a lot of the field organizing and the planning. And we're now at the stage where we can see the end. The end is in sight on the ballot drives. So we're beginning to start staffing up so that we can manage the actual, okay, we're getting the sign here. So we can manage the field work. And it's going to be Politics 101, which is all about door knocking. It's about phone banking. It is about tabling, distributing literature, bumper stickers, yard signs, etc.
Ground and pound.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly. People are so thankful to hear that there is an option for them, for housing, for healthcare as a human right, for ending debt, for jobs. Somebody asked about UBI. Yes, we talk about UBI, and we also talk about a universal basic income above poverty, so that we're talking about the right to a job and a
That's right.
$25 an hour minimum wage. So yes, absolutely. We are talking about an economic bill of rights that includes the right to healthcare and housing and transportation, which are all affordable. So lots more to talk about, and it's really great being here with you. Thank you for laying the groundwork for this transformation whose time has come. Thank you to Butch for joining up. It feels like this is such a magical moment right now for us to really seize this this perfect storm, seize the moment in this perfect storm for transformation. Let's make it happen. Your dollars make all the difference, and your volunteering. So please do both, spread the word, and hold on to your hat. Free Palestine, free us.
I mean.
Thanks so